Contain project is our response to the COVID crisis. Our model was to try and create a sort of high throughput automated COVID testing laboratory in a shipping container.
So we're inside in one of our COVID testing laboratories right now. We're actually inside a 40-foot shipping container, a high-cube one. So our shipping container labs can be brought to any country, either via land or sea. So it's very convenient. If you have a local outbreak, you can bring it really quickly there. And each single container can actually test 2,000 patients a day or 2,000 samples a day. And how it is actually a linear workflow. So you always walk in here and then you have to go outside at the other end. So it's a tunnel container.
The whole process is sort of separated into 3 separate steps. What happens in the first part of doing this test is you have to take that sample, inactivate it, and sort of rip it apart. It's called lysis. You break apart the human cells, you break apart the viral particles, and you do that by adding chemicals to it. In Station B, this is where essentially we're doing the technical process is called RNA extraction. And in the RNA extraction process, we essentially isolate that RNA and we wash it several times. So this is where the actual robotics comes into play. And then at the end of that, you'll have a clean sample of hopefully just human and/or viral RNA. And then the final step, Station C, involves actually preparing the sample for PCR. So in this specific situation, for a coronavirus test, you do a certain type of PCR called reverse transcriptase quantitative PCR. Essentially what that does is take this viral RNA, convert it into DNA, and then essentially amplify it. We prepare a reaction, again using an OpenCell robot, where we mix the sample with enzymes, and those enzymes will then replicate it multiple times, and we'll have a probe to test whether there's viral RNA in that sample or not.
The other advantage of the labs is because they're mobile, because they retain all of their shipping permits and everything. As the outbreak progresses and moves, you can very quickly move the laboratories to a new location where perhaps there's an increased outbreak and start servicing that area within 24 hours for most of Europe. The sort of scenarios that we're considering for the Contain project and where it might be really effective is in sort of mid-sized to large institutions and companies who are looking to kind of get back to operation, get back to work,